Hey guys, per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only, and it's not intended as financial advice. So I reached out to the Twitterverse asking for some requests. You'll see those here. These will be included in the video. I'm going to make this a 4-hour follow-through video, meaning it's only the 4-hour, and it's pretty much only going to be these indicators, oscillators, whatever. In my opinion, the most important and actionable of them all. So let's get started. I'm going to start with BLX, which is the Bitcoin Liquid Index from Brave New Coin. And before people ask in the comments or whatever, yes, I'm in and out of many of these. I can't say that I won't be trading any of these positions actively, so I'm not trying to sell you on anything. This is just what I see. Okay, Bitcoin. So everybody saw this inverted head and shoulders by now, I think. It's pretty widely out there by me and many people before me. So shoulder, head, shoulder, great. That's an inverted head and shoulders. That's a reversal sign. What people often fail to do is measure out anything or look at volume or anything like that. So yes, we have a descending volume. Yes, we have a volume break at resistance, a volume breaking the trend rather at resistance, the neckline in this case. So it has all the hallmarks for a inverted head and shoulders. Okay, great. Now let's map this out a little bit. So this is the 1618 fib at 32. It's hard to see. Okay, 3200 1618 fib. Great. I'm just choosing this point as the top. Okay, and this is the bottom. From there, I also have the pitchfork on here, and this is showing a median line as such. You know, this is the anchor points here, here, here. And why do I use all these together? I'm just sort of looking for confluence of support and resistance. Okay, it's at the 786 fib. Great. With head and shoulders, you often see what's called a throwback, which is what I think this is now. It's going to test the resistance turn support here, and it should be support. We'll see what happens. That's the expected result. That's what you see over and over again. From here, you're expecting, at least I'm expecting, 3500. There's not shown as a pivot. That's up here. The EMAs had no sign of crossing, which is good. That would be very bearish. Short EMA over the long EMA. Long over short would be bearish. Okay. You can see how it broke the 50, tested the 200, the 50 remained resistance, and then it broke out of the 50. Okay, that's confluence with head and shoulders. Great. This is all just adding to your confidence of your position, of your entry. So if you want to trade head and shoulders, this is always the entry. Bids are always back at the throwback. Okay. And again, you're seeing this diag on the pitchfork. More confluence. Great. I'm sure there's a pivot down here. It's not shown. RSI. I don't see anything that pops out of me. There's no divs or anything. So I'd really expect Bitcoin to bounce from here. It's at the 50, it's at the diag of the pitchfork, it's at the neckline, it's at the 786 of the fib. Okay, so I'm expecting higher from here. And let's just turn on the cloud real quick. 4-hour cloud doesn't help you much. Again, the entry was basically the inverted head and shoulders. So if you're looking to line things up again, you got the inverted head and shoulders breakout with the Kumo breakout of the cloud. Great. Cloud wants it to pull back to like 25.55 based on the Kijun and this flat Kumo. So that's the 50% of all this. Bottom line, this should go higher. It's going to get some resistance at 3K again, just because it's a round, even psychological number and it's previous all-time high. But from there, I think it'll hit 3,500 pretty easily. Moving to ETH BTC, I'm not even going to show the ETH USD chart. It's blown out right now. It's not really TA-able considering what happened there. I'm sure that'll get rolled back. I don't see that not getting rolled back. There's too many people who got wrecked. Too many small fries. Probably some larger people got wrecked too on that margin cascade, but who knows? But I expect that to get reversed. So what did we have here on ETH BTC? Well, there was an edge-to-edge trade from here to here. Edge-to-edge trades are when price closes in the cloud, should reach for the other edge of the cloud. Here you can see you didn't really get much of a chance to get in. Now there's the better edge trades are usually, it'll start to droop in and then make a big bang, but this one sort of went all at once. What actually did help you was the B-band break. They started to squeeze and then break up in here-ish. I was tweeting it out. It's hard to show now because they're shaped a little differently than they were before. But again, you're seeing all this rejection of the median line. You're seeing basically a day of rejection here. Here you were seeing a day of support on the median line. Just something to look forward for in the future. Now who knows how actionable that is. I don't have backtesting on that, but I'm assuming that's a pretty actionable signal. So back to the cloud. Just horizontals in general, this looked like a flag. This wanted to break up, but I think the clogging stuff didn't really help, obviously, of the network. And again, I always mention these triangles. Any point on a triangle is always support resistance, and just to add to the confluence of where you'd expect it to go. So that's one thing, and then the next support resistance for sure would be down here. Again, why? It's at a triangle point. So 0.93, something like that. You can also sort of guesstimate a support resistance in here, which I'd already sort of tested. So cloud is leaning short right now. I don't know how many days this will last. The ICO crap's going to keep going, so I wouldn't really put too much faith in a short at the moment on this. And 5200, it hasn't even reached the 200 yet. I think it'll reach for it. So I think this has a little bit more to go. Pivots are way down here. So it broke the R1. I doubt it'll reach for 837, but certainly possible. You could expect support down there just based on the pivot. I don't really consider that actionable. But if you're letting a runner run, if you're short and just letting it go, this is certainly a fine place to just close most of it out or all of it at that point. And then if we had pitchfork onto that, I was saying if we break this diag, if we break the 200, basically we're going lower, and the pitchfork agrees with that, the pivots agree with that. So there's plenty of confluence of support resistance here, just sort of zones to watch. We'll see what happens. If we turn on Heiken Ashi real quick, with B-bands, up in here, it's really hard to say. I won't really discuss the doji thing, but there were signs of weakness here. I can say that it likely the TK cross happened the candle before the big drop. Anyway, that's enough of that. But this doesn't look great. Obviously, it's recovering a little bit. GDX is back up. Yada yada yada. Okay, here's a Ripple XRP, and I'll shut everything off. But essentially, you're getting a descending volume profile. It's in the cloud, no trade zone. These are all the levels here, which basically match up with the fibs, and these levels are all local highs on the way down here. You could argue that there was a head and shoulders here that never broke down. We'll see. If we just turn everything off for a second and focus on the 5200, you can see it actually broke. I think it did, yeah. So the 5200 cross happened here. I've talked about this in one of the videos, but sometimes you have to just let the patterns work themselves out before you rely on other indicators, like especially EMAs or Ichimoku, because that's basically EMAs. Because what you'll get here is a zeroing out of EMAs, essentially where they're touching, basically. RSI is back to 50. So really this could go either way. To me this is a 50-50. It's leaning bull because the 5200 cross, it's in the cloud, so it's another way of saying, nothing happened. Nothing actionable here. It looked like it broke this giant flag. Pretty promising, but it all reversed. So I'm in it right now, I'm holding. We'll see what happens. The cloud signals weren't all bullish. You'll see here there was a Kuma breakout, but cloud itself was not bullish. Again, this is saving you from a trade that otherwise may not have worked out, including myself. So, if everything turns bullish again, that is a strong entry signal. So if price is above cloud and cloud is bullish, lagging span, which is this shadowy thing in the background, if that's above cloud, above price, TK cross, which you can't really see very well. But it's been bullish for a little while. So to me, I read this as this just needs more time to relax and go sideways. As far as targets are concerned, you know, it's all these, which are basically just local highs. Use your horizontal line tool, as Ant says. One of your best drawing tools on Twitter, or on TradingView. And beyond that, you'd expect these fib targets, okay? Really nothing, it's not rocket science here. Don't overthink these alt charts for the most part. And then one quick thing about cloud, I prefer the double cloud with Bitcoin in all time frames, but I prefer doubled cloud on alts only on the 4 hour and single cloud on the daily. Double cloud on the 4 hour is basically an 8 hour cloud on 4 hour candles, if that makes sense. So that moves it towards single daily cloud a little bit more. You're getting more data. It's a little bit more reliable in my opinion. Now the backtesting has shown that the single daily cloud is actually the best for entries and exits. Not exits, but definitely entries. I wouldn't use it for exits. Okay, that's enough about cloud, and let's move on to Litecoin, better known as Woke Rock. So immediately the first thing that pops out to me here is TK cross is happening to the bearish side, and this massive decline in volume. There's arguably a beautiful setup for head and shoulders here. Shoulder, head, shoulder. The downside somewhere down here. We can measure it. This is actually best measured on a lower time frame, but something like here. So that looks ridiculous, but not out of the question. Back down to 0.12, something like that. But this volume profile really says more than anything that we're in a consolidation mode. Cloud expects it to keep going, considering it's above the cloud, but the TK cross tells you should you have longed all the way down here, you close here. And again, like I'm always preaching, if you just long every Kuma breakout like a robot, you're gonna hit some of these like an all-star, rock star. Okay, you know, like back here, you long here, okay, it doesn't work out. You long again, boom. Okay, you long here, it works out. It's not always gonna look like that, but more often than not, when you get the Kuma breakout, with everything else being bullish, you're gonna hit big trends on lower time frames especially. So I just got done talking about how I like doubled on 4 hour, but the previous was singled, and that tells you something that doubled doesn't tell you, which is that the TK cross is happening on a singled. So if stuff's moving really quickly, you have to adjust things a little bit. And yeah, it's kind of curve fitting, but you just have to get used to it, going back and forth between what you're trying to see. You know, does it look like it's about to reverse? Let's turn on the single cloud and see what it says. Now the other thing the double cloud tells you here is that this was the target from the Kuma breakout, and that was hit pretty easily. Beyond that, any flat line in general is a target, sure. It couldn't have picked this exact target out, at least the cloud couldn't have. And back to the head and shoulders logic, if it does break down, you could expect it to reach for the 200 here. I don't see a pitchfork that would work on here. There's probably one on lower time frames, so I'm not going to bother drawing it. Here's Berrycoin, ETC. Kind of just sideways here. There's no real pattern or anything going on. It's hard to even say this is consolidation. It's just kind of doing its thing. 5200 are fine. You can see how it squeezed this descending triangle here and broke up surprisingly against all odds. Considering descending triangle should break down, even though this is between a descending triangle and a bearish channel, whatever. 5200 will look fine now. I mean, there's not really much to say. It's been going. You can see the waves here when you turn on the EMAs. 1, 2, 3. I just think this is a long-term hold, and the chart's kind of meaningless anyway. Going back to cloud, again, you're getting a TK cross here. If you were long here, not much of a position. And this is a good example of when not to use cloud, when stuff's sideways. It's just going to zero everything out, like I was saying on EMAs in general. So I would avoid using cloud here. Let's take a look at what B-bands look like. B-bands don't help you much either. Kanashi candlesticks. It was a nice mini downtrend. Nothing tradable, in my opinion. For a long entry, you'd be looking at 2 or 3 green candles with size here above the cloud. That's what I'd like to see. So I don't know where this is at. It's above the cloud. So you're waiting for the TK recross. Again, just like a Kumo breakout. Anytime you see a TK recross above the cloud, you long it like a robot. Okay. Anytime you see a bearish TK recross below the cloud, you short it like a robot, especially if it matches trend. So this TK recross is going to match the bullish trend of ATC in general. You can see it worked out here if you're using a non-TK exit signal. So if you're using fractals, which I talked about in a few videos, you can search for this. It's called Bill Williams fractal. And anytime you see a high, low, high, you're going to get a bear fractal. The argument is that in a bull trend, you shouldn't be breaking bear fractals. So what you do is on your entry, we'll see if this worked out or not. I wish it didn't. But let's say you're long, somewhere in here, I don't care. You wait. Here's your bearish candle print. Bearish fractal. So stop there. Stop here. You get stopped out here. Re-entry could be Kijun. I think that's the Kijun bounce. Again, this depends completely on you and how you trade this, if you're awake, if you use stops at all, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if you re-long the Kijun and are waiting for fractals again, fractal here, okay, and then we finally get a fractal up here, great. Finally get another fractal here, they need to be stopped out up here at 008. So that's just another way to not use the cloud as an exit signal. Another thing you can do is just go down to the low time frame cloud and use a 1 hour exit signal on TK cross, for instance. That would get you out somewhere up here most likely. If you don't like the fractals, you can just use wicks on the HA candlesticks, just as a thought experiment. We can look at how it would look just on another one. Let's say you long 3 candles up, 4 candles up, I don't care. Okay, you get the bearish print. That's your stop. You get stopped out shortly thereafter. So the stop system, again, up to you. If you need me to talk about it more, I can, but I know I went over it kind of fast. All right, let's move on to RADs. So volume is garbage. RSI is just ranging. This is largely all a garbly mess. If we try to pitchfork this, we can put it here or here. I think this is pretty convincingly the anchor down here. This is convincingly one of the anchor points. But this looks okay as just a validity, touch, garbly mess, whatever. There's also likely, so this gives us a target of, whatever the median line is in this SAT value. I don't care. Sorry, guys. I am in RADs, actually, so I'm just waiting for it to go. We're getting kind of what seems like a rising wedge, which is definitely troublesome for continuation. I think the argument's definitely there. As little volume as there is here, you're getting it on a descending pattern. So, if I was in heavy RADs, I'd be concerned. I'm not in too heavy in RADs, so I'm just going to let it be. But this definitely looks like a rising wedge to me. Cloud's not going to help you too much because, again, it's kind of sideways up. There's more stuff in here. There's a double bottom below cloud. You can see that as an entry. I don't know. It's all of it's hindsight at this point. You're either in or you're not, I think. I think it'll break down before it'll keep going up, just because of the rising wedginess of it all. Cloud doesn't help me there. I don't think the EMA is going to help me too much. There's your entry down here in March. All these alts had a March entry. March, mid-April, something like that. Here's another entry, cross, recross. This is probably better seen on a higher time frame, but this is good enough. So if this starts to roll over bearish, that's another exit signal. Moving on to Strat. Again, you can immediately see the March EMA cross. Great, whatever, that's months ago. The other thing you should notice, the flag immediately, descending volume profile backs that up. You can see it's tested RSI lows a few times here. This is an expected continuation just based on the pattern. So we take all this off and turn on the cloud. get something pretty interesting because it's below the cloud pretty handedly here. I would wait to re-enter until it's, again, everything's bullish, like a broken record. Kumo breakout, cloud is bullish, lagging span. Here's a pearl of wisdom. When things are sideways like this and consolidating and triangulating, I typically don't long the Kumo breakout. What I do is I wait for the lagging span to be above everything, which is weird because I really don't use lagging span any other time. But it will save you so much. It's insane how good this is. I don't have stats on this, but considering I've used it, I've back tested it, okay. So you may get the Kumo breakout, you may get the TK cross, you may get the bullish cloud. Until this lagging span is above everything, I would wait for that as far as an entry signal if you're not already in. If you're already in, I think it's fine as a hold because the flag is here. If we look at targets, what I typically do is just find the bottom of the flagpole and fib top to bottom. Depends on what you consider bottom. I like this. 50% lines up with that. That's sort of curve fitting, sort of not. I just drew it and that's what happened. Okay. And I'm sticking to it. So this is the upside 0069 1618. You can also measure this. This measured target's probably going to be much greater. So again, any chart pattern usually has a measured target, and I use the 618 target as well. So this lines up pretty close. 0069 is an excellent target here. Nobody requested BTS, but I'm going to show it because it's pretty similar to Strat right there. BTS looked like it wanted to continue. BitShares has the flag. You know, everything, all the hallmarks are here. The volume just died completely. Just like, bruh. It's testing RSI lows, great. It had this interesting edge-to-edge thing. You know, this is the edge-to-edge you want to see when it starts to close in, and then things might happen. Anytime I have an edge-to-edge, I usually use the stop as the Kijun as a stop, okay. In this case, you would have been okay. You can see how it hit the other end here. I had some bids in this area on Polo 9973. I don't know if it actually got hit, but anyway, that's besides the point. So again, you know, if you're practicing if you have no clue, if you're completely new and you don't know what you should be doing for targets, here's a strategy for you, okay? See the flagpole, measure the fib top to bottom, okay, and then do the measured move. Should line up pretty well. Measured move from the breakout point. So we'll say it's here. Okay, great. Measured move matches the fib. 26. 00026. 26K sats should be the target, the up target here, when eventually all this rolls over. And again, use the cloud. Wait for the bullish TK recross above the cloud, and or with the lagging span. Again, another situation where the TK recross and cloud probably aren't going to be good enough. Wait for the lagging span. Wait for price to go sufficiently sideways and be sufficiently above previous price for further upside potential. Here's a VIA, which kind of collapsed under its own weight price-wise. 4 hour got bought up pretty nicely. Anytime you see long wicks like this, especially on an altcoin, this is just an order block. Okay, I think ICT maybe coined that term, probably somebody else, but basically this is saying here are all the sellers in this zone. Should it break this zone, expect it to go higher. And what did it do? It broke this zone and went higher. Same thing here. Should it break this zone, here are all the buyers. If it breaks here, there are no more buyers. And that's what you're expecting. It should go lower if it breaks here. Cloud wants it to keep going. There's no real pattern or flag yet. You know, this could flag out, but it's going to take a few days to do so. But it could look something like that. And again, you're expecting volume to drop off. And if you want to get a jump start on targets, you know, your pole could be down here, depending on how those fibs line up. And your upside target, 120K. That's simple. Just be robotic every time. See a flag, fib it, take the measured move, and it's not rocket science if you're looking for targets. And you can backtest this. I guarantee you it will work out most of the time. Should this break up, it'll want to reach for this target. Here's library credits. First thing I notice immediately, descending volume profile. For some reason my eyes always move to volume first, especially if there's anything on the chart. For a lot of these alts, there's just nothing. So you're getting descending volume on consecutive highs, so that's a div, bear div. You're getting RSI div to back that up. So there's this famous chart where you'll see like this stock selling off over and over again, and there's just a bear div, bear div, bear div. And what that's trying to tell you is divs are great, but they can just keep going indefinitely until there's a resolution. So this is just building in bear div. The bear div can be reset. If we sell off, if it breaks trend, it makes a higher high on higher RSI. Those can all reset RSI, reset the div, but it doesn't look great for heavy continuation. Cloud says it's fine to keep going. Kind of like RADs. I don't really see much like as far as actionabilities are concerned here. Don't really think there's a pitchfork on this. It's kind of in outer space compared to where it used to be. I would just pay attention to volume and RSI here on the 4-hour. I wouldn't feel too comfortable being in a position on this right now. Here's SIA coin. Something I was in and out of below 100 sats. So maybe my opinion for SIA coin is worthless, but I'll give it to you anyway. Again, you're seeing a higher high and lower volume and RSI. There's a div there. That's basically playing out or played out. You're seeing this and this. So all this, up here it said you're bearish. It's pretty much reset at this point. There's definitely a very small descending volume profile on this flag, so there's probably a low time frame pair flag there. 5200, not really anything actionable. Those you could use those as supports. Cloud, again, you're seeing this TK recross above cloud. Here's a good example actually of the lagging span. If we just measure, so here was the TK recross. If we go 30 periods back, here was lagging span. So when the TK recross happened, everything else was already bullish. Cloud was bullish. Lagging span was above price above cloud, and you get price above cloud with the TK recross. Okay, so that's a strong entry signal. And similar to BTS, if you're seeing this fractal here, BTS or the other one I already forgot, Strat, you can see how, you have a flag, you expect it to break up, it doesn't, it goes back in the cloud, stuff happens, it can certainly go lower from there. But if you see this, on BTS and Strat, what you'd be looking for the entry is what I just showed you. The TK recross with lagging span above everything. I think that's more important than I used to realize, but definitely pay attention to that. So right now, I don't really see SIA going anywhere. I'm not in it, so I don't know. I don't really know what people are thinking, but if we just fib, you can fib anything. You can fib this if you want. And upside 943, okay, great. If you want to fib the downside, you go from low to high. Here's your downside, 619, 559. Interesting, it hit 666. Again, psychological numbers always pop up on these support resist targets. If you want to force a pitchfork here, you could do something like this. Anchor, high, low. This would probably work too. No, it doesn't really work either. That kind of works. I don't know, it really depends. I don't really trust forks with most alts, unless they're super valid, unless you're seeing multiple touches of the diags over and over again. Here's Stellar, which has some sort of airdrop thing that I don't really understand coming up soon. You can see it's basically at lows, so based on that alone, there's a decent risk reward just logging this from here and forgetting about everything else as far as TA is concerned. If it breaks lows, if it breaks 1200, you just get rid of it. But all of this in here, you know, again, if I'm thinking like order block type stuff, where the buyer is going to be to save this, you're going to be in here probably. So you may get 1 or 2 stabs down before it goes up, if it goes up, you know, but if this support fails, you can expect it to go much lower. If you're looking for confluence with cloud, you'd be waiting again for all the parameters of cloud to flip before longing this. There's really not much else to say on this at the moment, which is fine. I like ABCTA. ABC meaning super simple. So, you know, bids in here are fine, longing from here is fine, with stops just below 1200. As far as targets up would be 2K, 2300, and 2600, and Y. These are 50% fibs of some movement over here. That's why it's printing this here. Here's the cred, garbly mess. Kind of a U-shaped thing. When in doubt, zoom out. I don't really see much going on here. I don't really want to force a pattern on this. It certainly looks like a, you know, just a channel, which statistically should go higher based on what bull channels do. Again, if you want to map this out, get some crazy ass targets. Like, let's see. I'll say there. So your target would be 0445. Great. You are getting the descending volume-ish, which is nice. RSI doesn't really tell me anything. 5200. There were long entry here. No exit signals yet. Looking back at cloud. Super messy. Not really worth paying attention to. I don't see a pitchfork or anything else I want to look at on this. Maybe V-bands. So if we look at V-bands, nothing actionable. I would just focus on the high time frame zoomed out view. I wouldn't even pay attention to any of this noise. So moving on to Plutus, which is only on Liqui. First time I've been on this website. Gotta admit, I had no idea they had like a full package of indicators. And I can see cloud on here. Super great. This is 4 hour. Just a garbly mess. I wouldn't TA this. I would just buy and hold if you're in it. Just forget about it. It certainly wants to go up here based on the 4 hour. But, you know, this is so young. I wouldn't really bother looking at this every day. That's all I'm going to say about Plutus. And I'm going to skip most of these because they have zero liquidity exchanges and this video is long enough. But this is ARK. You can see there's a flag here looking flaggy. Not really much to say about it. Volume kind of descending. You can see how I don't trade some of these crazy altcoins much because it really limits my power as a TA person to analyze them because I don't really know what's going on here. You can probably put EMAs. I'm not even going to bother. Anyway, that's ARK. It's a flag. It should break up. If it doesn't, close everything. Targets local highs. Fib, which I famously cannot draw on this website, but I'll go for it. Let's see. 7K? 70K? 666. I'll say that's the target. That's the 618 of the flagpole situation, okay? Just because it's on a crappy chart doesn't mean you can't use the same techniques you were using on TradingView. Alright, and lastly, let's just do PIVX real quick. So I'm going to stick Bollinger Bands on PIVX. I don't really see anything else. I don't really see any chart patterns. Anything going on here. Again, triangle point is support resistance. It's basically there. You could argue it had some sort of head and shoulders. I don't know. It's at lows. Again, just like Stellar, okay? It's at lows. If it goes lower, sell it. If it doesn't, just hold it. I don't know where this is going to go, obviously. Alright, that's all I have for today. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter, Telegram. If you want to see anything else, let me know in the comments. Try to avoid stuff on Cryptopia and Liqui and Bittrex because I really have a difficult time charting it, or it's too young to chart, or the liquidity is zero, like HBN, Hobo Nickels. The chart there looks disastrous. Happy trading.